So do you know what you want to say at the beginning?
Well, I thought about mentioning that much of this landscape hasn't changed a great deal since Turner painted it. I mentioned that he was a patron of the Fawkes family.
My name is Peter. I've had a business in Otley since 1974.
Okay. My name's Peter and I've had a business in Otley since 1974. I'm the chair of Otley Town Partnership, which acts as an umbrella for lots of community groups, and we care passionately about Otley. On the face of it, people might think that there's nothing wrong, but we know beneath the surface there are problems.
I'm Marty and I've lived in Otley for 8 years now, and I think it's fabulous here. It's right next to the Yorkshire Dales and it has an amazing community spirit. But I think it could be an even better place.
Saturday in the market square, there's lots of people everywhere. Market people shouting prices. What a life in Otley. What a life in Otley with the people down the streets. What a life in Otley with the busy, busy, busy cold streets. How's that one? A cherry!
Yippee! I've been here since September 2011. I sell a variety of homemade cakes and tarts, and I make them myself.
Oh yeah!
The markets on a Tuesday, Friday and Saturday are run by Leeds. They bring along the stalls and put them up the night before, but not all of those stalls get taken up, so you have empty stalls which look much worse than if they weren't there in the first place.
Who's the next lucky lady?
We've got a few ideas there which we think will revitalise that market, and we would like to see more local produce sold at the market.
Any problem with anything, you can always come back. We did help. Most places you go to, all you get is put price on and sell it. What we do more than just sell. Somebody wants an extra long handle. Somebody wants making to size, colour, to match things. Been on this market about 28 years. What we need is a little bit more advertising where people, can come and support us and get the good service they need.
Friday night at the pie shop, everybody's there. They're queuing for their favourite pie. What a life in Otley.
Many places don't have a butcher's. We have 3 cracking butchers, and I think that illustrates some of our strengths compared with other places and other market towns.
We've been here since 1881, and if you want to improve business in any town centre, it's the parking. People come now, try to park in the market square, you get an £80 ticket. Hey, would you come back then?
Can we get you anything else? Oh, thank you.
Try and take Sainsbury's car park away from them, see what happens to them.
I was on Leeds City Council for 2 years, and the trouble is that the people in Leeds from all political parties are only interested in the 1 square mile in the centre of Leeds, and that is a big problem, because when you get out in the suburbs like Otley, they're not interested, and it doesn't matter which party's in power, they just will not do anything for the town.
If we take Ilkley, our neighbouring town, it's pushed all the time by Bradford Council. It's their jewel in the crown. They're so proud of Ilkley. Leeds, they don't seem bothered.
I'm Ben, this is Shake It Milkshake Bar. We opened in January 2011. We do over 200 milkshakes, coffees, hot chocolates and smoothies, and we also sell a range of American sweets.
A regular flake with magic stars?
I think Otley's a great place because you've got plenty of schools around, so there's lots of kids that come into the shop. It's just a generally busy place.
Like most of the other pilot bidders, Otley's charity shops are prevalent in prime retail sites. I'm told they benefit from organised coach tours for people seeking a bargain. But even with this and other benefits, some still close. However, there is a specialist recycling shop that's thriving just on the edge of the town.
I resell good quality designer clothes. I have over 2,000 suppliers that bring clothes from all over the country. Things that they've never worn, things that they've worn maybe a couple of hours. I think Otley's got a poor image, and it's a shame. My customers that come from a long way feel that Otley hasn't got what they want. Otley would be drastically improved if the image improved, and I think a lot with that would be if the charity shops actually had a street that's a little bit off the beaten track, and actually in the main street have some quality shops. People do want quality items, and they want the good service, the personal service.
Next door, the soap gallery has been open for 3 years, but the owner's a bit camera shy. Customers come from abroad to buy his handmade natural soaps, but the resourceful Otley folk have found other uses besides washing. One man bought some lemon meringue pie soap cake and set it in the fridge for his revelling son's return home from a night on the town.
Once upon a time, there used to be rowing boats here on the River Wharf, but they're long gone now, and we're told that health and safety won't let us have them. But I don't believe that. I used to punt up and down the River Cam all the time. I don't see why the Yorkshire punters can't go messing about on the river too. Although maybe not when it's quite so windy.
Tourism has certainly suffered since the rowboats went, but Otley's fortunate to have other magnets, like the specialist shops. It's got artisan bakeries, fly fishing tackle, and probably the finest roast beef and dripping sandwiches you've ever tasted. Everything from cakes to cigars, so you know where to come when you run out of your Cahoba Bahiques.
These are currently in production, but quite scarce. A one-time favourite of Fidel Castro's. Those cigars sell at £41.20 per cigar. So that's over £400 a box.
Yeah, James, put me down for 3 boxes. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, there's always the cupcake shop. Easy for you to say. In fact, the list is too long to mention. Thank goodness. I can see the appeal of the old sweet shop, but I'll never understand why there's a demand for a selection of artificial pigeons and hawks. But if you just run out, you know where to come. I'm told the shop's thriving, and judging by the float collection, they're certainly not short of a bob or two. There are plenty of tourists across town. They flock to glide and slide, a haven for those who would rather slip than walk. And here's Elliot to explain another magnet which I think could easily be made more attractive. But more of that later.
Otley has stunning architecture, it really does. And the scenery is fantastic. It's beautiful, it really is.
Yes, Elliot, I agree. The architecture is stunning. But it's 2:15 in the morning on the day of the submission to YouTube of this video, and I've run out of time to script it. So if there's any viewers out there that know why there's 2 balconies on this Liberal Club building in Wesley Street, perhaps you'd like to, well, you know the score by now.
It could do with a bit of a clean up, and it could do with a bit of fresh life into it. And unfortunately I get the feeling that a lot of the shopkeepers here don't take pride in what they do. There are a few that do, and they do it well, but there are a small minority that let us down, I feel.
Amongst the small minority letting us down are the banks. Look at the litter from the Santander cash point machine. These waste advice slips have been there for days. Must be terrible if you're a refined shop and you've got a filthy neighbour. I wonder what Thomas, Otley's most famous son, would make of the pavement in front of Barclays in his square. Still, who can afford street cleaners these days, eh? The thing is, though, in their defence, where can you go to these days to learn the art of service, sales and shopkeeping? We need an expert in rocket science, but where could you find one of those in Otley?
I've noticed in Otley, since the economic downturn, we've had quite a number of shops open and then sadly shut. And you wonder what went wrong. Wouldn't it be great if there was a place where prospective shop owners and shopkeepers could go so that they could get the best advice to make their businesses a success? How about a Mary Poppins shop?
One use for an empty shop sorted. Fingers crossed. But I'm sure the imaginative Otley folk can think of some more. Tweet at Otley Town Team for what you would like to buy in Otley that you can't now. Judging by these selections of shops, the team aren't expecting a very long list. Yeah, Marty, get back to the rocket science. Hidden away behind these cast iron bars lies the story of how 22 men perished in terrible conditions whilst building a railway tunnel. But it's locked away with litter all around, something I'm sure would never happen to Nelson's column. I can't see why in this day and age of webcam security we can't cut the bars away and set the monument free. Meanwhile, back at the tobacconists, there's an urgent need.
It's imperative that we get small industrial units. Lots of people now are trading online. You can't ignore it, it's the way forward. And these people need space, they need small units. In 1978 when I started, we had some real major industries. All those people used to team out of work at lunchtime or come after work. That's non-existent now. The only people working in towns are a few office workers and other retailers. And we need to create that mini economy, and that's what we're desperate for. Those people will then spend money in the sandwich shops, the gift shops, the hairdressers, wherever. We really need those units to bring the town on.
10 years ago, Stephen, over at Glide and Slide, found himself on the slippery slope of town planning when he needed a new roof.
An awful procedure with the planners about what colour we could use, what type of roof we could use, and really I don't think it makes a lot of difference. We are talking about it being visible from the Chevin. I don't think there's a lot of people with binoculars up there having a look at Otley and see what it looks like from an aerial view.
James feels the wasteland and derelict buildings opposite his shop could be put to better use. It's inevitable that businesses change, and when a local or national brand disappears, it's tragic. Do you feel the authorities do enough to help? Tweet at Otley Town Team and we'll pass your comments on. What do you think, Marty? Marty, you're on!
This is the Buttercross, right at the heart of Otley. It used to be where farmers' wives would gather to meet, chat and sell things like, well, butter. What Otley needs is a modern equivalent, a social meeting place where people can sell local produce. And where better than here?
My opinion is that Otley would benefit from more publicity for the bookshops. People do travel the country looking for clusters of bookshops. Otley is the place.
At the other end of the business spectrum is a high-tech multimedia company.
Why do you want me playing the guitar, Mike?
Run by my mate Dave, who in keeping with Victorian tradition lives above the shop.
We moved to Otley about 6 years ago. I quite like life in Otley. The family settled down well. It's kind of nice, really. Quirky. We work with many big clients, some based all over the world actually. Patron Tequila from California, or Moet in Paris, or Estee Lauder in London. And they're really quite surprised that we're in Otley, of all places. Some have never even heard of it. One actually said, is that next to Camden? Back in 1894, this room was the media suite for the Leeds Industrial Co-op. And I'm really proud that we've managed to create a company that is more or less doing exactly the same thing, but with a much more modern twist.
You can spin it round so it's always the right wheel, whichever side of the table you stood at.
We're pioneering in the interactive technology business. Yeah, Jim?
This enables the salesperson to strike up a rapport with the customer, start a conversation going, and once that's happened, then obviously it's much easier to then make a sale.
Okay. We're doing things on multi-touch tables, and we're doing things with iPhone apps and iPad apps that is just fantastic for the retail industry. Everyone knows about retail theatre. Covent Garden have been doing it for donkey's years. What we do is we provide content on the screens behind that performance. So a customer gets a really good, fun experience, but it's also commercial for the brands at the same time.
This is the Wonderwall in Terminal 5 in Heathrow Airport, in World Duty Free. This is the templates that we use here so that we can get an idea of what it will look like when it's on the real thing.
My business works out of 17 different airports. You see content that's actually created and controlled at a flick of a switch from Otley.
On my way to Farmers Market Sunday, I saw some inspirational volunteers. I noted at the Falcon Sports and Social Club, they'd got their table out for the first time. Next door was Peter's Carpet Shop, shut on Sunday because he's looking after the market.
The North Bar's a nice bar, actually.
Peter and his team, partnership, have built it up from 10 stalls to 50 over the last decade. Here's a cliched segue into his answer. I wondered why it was so different to the council-run ones.
Thank you.
I think the difference is that people enjoy coming here, not just for the produce, but they bring the dogs, they have a chat, and it's part of what we're trying to bring back into Otley. Something that's a little bit different than the experience they might find in a supermarket or in a mall.
Thank you.
And if you like the look and want to come along, you'll be able to find out when it's on from our town team website. Fingers crossed.
The price for a refill is £3. To buy it off the shelf, that's £4. Bring your empty bottle back.
It being 2012 Diamond Jubilee year, I'd arranged with the local paper to print our story and put out an appeal for people to come and stand by the Jubilee clock so that they could all shout out at the stroke of 12 a message to our Queen. With Marty off the telly beaming away on the front page, pretty soon the town will be teeming. Get it? Just time to bone up on the basics of QR codes.
No, Mary Portas isn't coming, I'm coming.
That gave me food for thought. Never seen that on YouTube before. Yeah, well now.
Hello there, 2 refills.
2, please.
Goodness gracious me.
As the minutes ticked by and noon approached, Peter's folding aluminium trestle was pressed into service as the mayor's platform.
This is our risk assessment. That's better. See you now.
He looks familiar. But I was a bit distracted. I've been bothered ever since I filmed Thomas's statue. Something about his eyes was haunting me. The crowd were all ready, fingers crossed, when I sprung my surprise.
Now we're going to do 1 minute silence.
Going to have 1 minute silence
In front of the Jubilee clock.
for all the shops that have shut down.
1 minute silence to remember all the things about Otley that were good but had disappeared. And just as we were counting down, it happened. I heard the voice of the ghost of Thomas, and he was saying, "It's the tables, Mike. It's the tables." Well, I don't know about you, but I'm scared. Anyway, I better finish the story at the end of the shout-out.
2, 1.
Please give us some money, Mary!
Excellent, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mary, or you'll have Thomas to answer to. Anyway, back to the story. Thomas Chippendale made chairs, cabinets and tables. But what was it about modern-day tables in his town of birth that bothered him so much? I mean, it may be a bit diminutive, but there's nothing particularly offensive about the Falcon Sport and Social Club table. And he must have been gobsmacked at Dave's multi-touch table. I know I was. No, I've got the answer. Not surprising since I wrote this. It's all about values in the high street. Do we price our tables right in the prime real estate shops? Think about it. What do you mean I said it was the Queen? It's Queen of Shops, and it's obvious.
Otley and Bloom's been in existence since the year 2000. We've actually financed the barrier planters all around the town, pay for planting and watering of the ones in Manor Square, there's 15. Leeds are helping us out with the other ones. There's various planters around the town that we work with Leeds. We're looking to enhance the town, grow civic pride and generate a good atmosphere for both businesses, visitors and residents.
Fingers.
£1 for a bag of apples. £1, come and get your apples. Roll up, get your pen.
Whether or not Otley does win Pilot Town status, they will still form a new town team, but not until we get your feedback. So if you live or work in the town and want to take part, email us at www.otleytownteam.org.uk. You try saying it. The beauty of tweeting is we can share your views elsewhere. So if you would like to answer this question, it won't create litter our way. Tweet at Otley Town Team, and we'll pass your tweets on to the landlord.
They really need to get their act together and look at Otley. It's probably the best town in the Leeds area, and they can really work at it.
Or if you feel as strongly as James, you might wish to try a more traditional type of communication. Thanks to Marty for, as he put it, standing up for Otley and all the other contribs. Oh, I nearly forgot to mention the pubs. And well, some of them are opening again. For instance, the Woolpack's been closed for almost 5 years, and then Richard Saby took it over. He's from the Big Hoo-Ha Company. He recorded the children of Wharton's Year 5 in open workshop as they're reflected on their perspectives of Otley. And that's this song. All together now.
So Mary, the next time you feel like a good stimulating read, full of good ideas for what to do with your money,
Or handmade soap for a pampered pooch. Award-winning wines and local beers.
Wharfdale moleskin twist.
An armadillo milkshake.
Or a plastic peregrine.
Designer wear at high street prices.
Or some digital diamonds for the Jubilee Queen.
Some raspberry snuff.
You know where to come.
Yes, Otley. It's not near Camden, but some say it's pretty close to Barking.
So Mary, next time you're in Terminal 5, don't forget to look at the screens. And don't worry about the pilot.
No, not the one driving your plane. Your pilot town, Otley.